Today's number is 7. No, not because it's the Steelers' lucky number, not because the Steelers are still chasing Super Bowl number 7. Last night's abysmal blowout loss to the Houston Texans marked the 7th straight playoff loss for Mike Tomlin. The Steelers' last playoff win was January 15, 2017, and really the only reason they won that game was because Chris Boswell was automatic that night. Tomlin has been a part of the Steelers organization for as long as I can remember, and for as long as I passionately watched the game of football. Players love him, and if you tune into an analyst on any given Sunday, whether it's Fox Sports, CBS Sports, or anything else, you will hear the same thing. If the Steelers were to fire Mike Tomlin, he would be snapped up before he left the building. You see, the common theme amongst Mike Tomlin in his slowly but very surely degrading performance and career is that if you even uttered the idea that the Pittsburgh Steelers should fire him, you were considered either racist, an idiot, or ignorant to how hard it is to find a head coach in the league today. Now, certainly, some people might fall into one, if not all of those buckets. However, I think the vast majority of us at this point are just tired of hearing how we should feel about a head coach that truly since the prime of Ben's career has done nothing but laid down disappointment after disappointment each and every NFL season. Personally, for me, my fire Tomlin journey started pretty late, I think. It was really last year that it started to trigger inside me this gut feeling that, you know what, maybe we shouldn't keep doing this. We shouldn't keep rolling things back and bringing in a new group of guys. Yes, it was truly last year where Russell Wilson tanked the entire ship after a solid start to his performance for the Pittsburgh Steelers, but going on what I believe, if I remember correctly, was a 6-game losing streak really put it in perspective for me. Sure enough, though, the new year came and the Pittsburgh Steelers really didn't have a plan. They had to reach out to an ever old aging Aaron Rodgers, who, yes, while his arm is still live and his mind is most likely pretty sharp based on what we've seen, his lack of mobility in the modern NFL era was ultimately our downfall last night against an elite Houston Texans defense. Now, I'm not saying that the players shouldn't play better and that it's all Mike Tomlin's fault that the defense, who is one of the highest paid and for a long time was the highest paid defenses in the league, consistently underperforms when you need them the most. I'm not saying that's all on Tomlin. There's players to this, there's circumstances, there's luck, there's referees, but hear me out on this one. I think we've had enough of a sample size now over the last 20 years to say that, you know what, maybe Mike Tomlin isn't really that capable of building a team around him that can go and compete in a Super Bowl. Crazy, I know. There's no two ways about it. The Pittsburgh Steelers have been a mediocre team since Ben was in his prime. It's hard for me to even say just how good of a head coach he ever was, considering the players he had around him when he joined the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, I don't want to take away from the fact that he won a Super Bowl. That's a very hard thing to do, whether you have great players handed to you or not, but it sure does make you think after watching the last 10 years that maybe Coach T doesn't have this thing figured out, and worse yet, I think the league is kind of leaving him and the Pittsburgh Steelers behind. You got coaches like Sean McVay. You got coaches like Ben Johnson. You got the guy over on the Lions, I forget his name. You got these coaches coming in and setting a new standard for what it means to build a good team in the NFL and how to play football. I swear to you, I feel like I've been watching the same Pittsburgh Steelers for the last 20 years. They never take a big swing for a new, fresh coordinator. They don't go after these top-tier names. They constantly are comfortable either promoting mediocre guys just for the results to remain exactly the same as they were the year before. I guess the point of this video is it's time for Tomlin to go. I wish him all the best. I am so happy that he is a player's coach and they love him. Of course, they vouch for him because he has their best interests at heart, and that's a beautiful thing. But you also need to have the fans in heart, right? You're leading a team that is funded by the fans for the fans, and I can't help but get this feeling that we've been held hostage by the Pittsburgh Steelers of the last 10 years. It's just not fun anymore. My overreactionary thoughts to what the Steelers should do is fire Mike Tomlin, guys like Watt, Hayward, Jalen Ramsey, Metcalf, Jonnu Smith. If teams are even willing to trade a mid-round pick for even half those guys. Do not bring back Aaron Rodgers when you're going up against guys like Josh Allen, Drake May, Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson, Joe Burrow, even the guys on that list that you don't immediately think, oh yeah, they're very athletic. They are certainly much more athletic and able to escape and get rush yards with their legs than a 42-year-old Aaron Rodgers. Change the philosophy. The Steelers need an identity change, and it starts with Tomlin. I wish him the best. It's not that I want him to fail and go be broke and live on the streets. Not that he ever would be, right? And I'm happy for him that he will absolutely probably get picked up the second the Steelers fire him. But that is not a good enough argument to make anymore as to why the Steelers shouldn't move on from the mediocrity that they have been living in for the last decade.